Well. It looks like perhaps Carmelo Anthony could be in for a real mess, thanks in part to his father, because a brand new lawsuit set to be filed later this week, I guess, that is going to depose his father, other people like Charleston White, and other folks, which we're going to talk about in this video, and likely force them to disclose information about Carmelo or about their actions way before the trial even starts. They couldn't help themselves. Not to mention, obviously, all the rumors surrounding that the $500,000 that people just wanted to stick it to Whitey donated to him is basically gone. But let's get into this. This is a bad day for the Carmelo Anthony defense. Very bad move by Carmelo's dad. There is a possibility where he might be okay, and we're going to talk about that too. Carmelo Anthony's case, Carmelo Anthony will not face trial for a long time. We know this because it's not going to be until June 1st, 2026. You know what I thought was interesting about delaying the trial to that date? Well, Matt Walsh pointed this out. He'll be convicted, and we'll have race riots right before the midterms. That's why they scheduled the trial for next June. It's hard to disagree. It's really hard to disagree. Now, I will say that Carmelo Anthony, the case with him is not exactly, I would say, it's not exactly the same as like George Floyd or, any one of these other cases that a bunch of rich white kids from the suburbs came into the inner cities and burned things down. His case is very different. There are many in the black community. There are many black content creators that have been very open about, thinking he's guilty and thinking that he's getting special treatment. And I don't know for a fact that people will riot, but here's what I do know. I do know that riots are basically on demand these days. They bus all these people in, and the cause doesn't even necessarily have to be that big of a deal for a lot of these, Soros-funded weirdos to, hire a bunch of... Did you ever notice how the Venn diagram for, the intersecting, you have these two circles, right? BLM, Free Palestine. The overlap is nearly 100%. Why do you think that is? Why do you think it's the same people getting arrested every time and then released later that day? It's because, in my opinion, most of these people are paid protesters, and I think that this is a nefarious plot. Delaying it to June, I don't know if, this is Texas. This judge has a pretty solid record, but you could make that argument. You could say, gee, that is weird that they delayed that. That is odd. You know what I mean? Like, you could make that argument. And why would they? Well, maybe they want to have, the race division at an all-time high during the midterms. It's entirely possible. Now, getting to where things are getting much, much worse. By the way, if you enjoyed my reporting, please do leave a like on the video and subscribe or follow. That's all I ask. It's 100% free to do, and I hope that you will. Oh, you poor little pathetic snowflake. Now this is, well, let's actually go, here we go. You know how allegedly Charleston White, who is an entertainer, I would say, basically, seems to have been hired, at least he claims to have been hired in leaked audio from Carmelo Anthony's dad, Drew Anthony, and his Magnum Dong. No, wait, that's his son's Magnum Dong. Anyway, they have been setting about kind of going after one local reporter in Texas who goes by the name of Sarah Fields. Now, we all have pasts, and I'm not going to get into Sarah's. In my experience, she's been very, very solid as a reporter. And she's one of the few people, if not one of the only people, that are actually reporting on this at the ground level, because a lot of people just don't want to cover it, mainstream media, because it's inconvenient, right? Well, Charleston White, the Carmelo Anthony family, and this Tiffany Billions, which is not her, I don't think her real name, obviously, have been essentially slandering her online, Well, now, late last night or early this morning, I guess I kind of knew about it before she tweeted it, she announced her lawsuit. And why is this important? Because people like Charleston White, Drew Anthony, and Tiffany Billions, who all, like Tiffany and Charleston White, both claim to have direct contact with the Anthony family. And obviously, Drew Anthony, the father, they are all going to be deposed in this. Which means we're going to find out, first of all, maybe Charleston White made the whole thing up and he's just grifting. That's the best case scenario for Karmelo Anthony. This other criminal, Tiffany Billions, maybe she made up having direct contact. Both of these people said they've had direct contact with the Karmelo Anthony family and they've been doing PR for them. Tiffany Billions, you may know, ran the TikTok space about Karmelo Anthony's magnum dong and said that his magnum dong was why he took out Austin Metcalf. Because two boys in high school, because Karmelo Anthony was ashamed of his magnum dong. That's what allegedly Karmelo Anthony's mom told to Tiffany. Now, when this lawsuit goes forward, and I'm doing everything I can to make sure it does, and I'm going to show you how in just a second, Drew Anthony and Karmelo Anthony's mom, I don't know her name offhand, they're going to have to answer questions. Did you hire Charleston White? Because Charleston White, there's audio of Charleston White claiming that he secured a bag to come out against Sarah Fields. Now, maybe that's not true. Maybe he was just doing that to be provocative, to get in the headlines. I mean, look at what's happening right now. There's already all sorts of people who are making up, like this video, which there's audio floating around of Charleston White allegedly saying this stuff. It appears to me and through my scans and through Sarah Fields' scans that this audio is AI.
Charles, it's all over the internet. Did you just flip in supporting that boy?
He named his price. I said bet, told him, now hand over that dirt. Next thing I know, I'm sitting on a gold mine. All the skeletons, all the lies, all that unity them niggas been pretending about. Fake. So what I do, I flipped it.
This audio appears to be completely AI. Now, Charleston White was caught on audio from some dancer saying that he told the Anthony family that he wanted a bag. He implied he was paid. Well, now we're going to know the truth. So Sarah Fields, the reporter, a local reporter, put this out. It's been a long time past for the race-baiting grifters to face the consequences of their words. Since the beginning of April, I've reported on the Anthony case with accuracy and detailed precision, supported by court documents, open records responses, and thorough research. Because of this, activists and Karmelo Anthony defenders have done everything they can to silence the truth. These influencers have chosen to support Karmelo based solely on the color of his skin, while attempting to intimidate and threaten those who reveal the truth about Austin Metcalf's case. I have been doxxed, threatened, harassed, and targeted by individuals within their, quote, celebrity and influencer world. BLM, Antifa, and the guerrilla mainframe. I don't even know what that is. My church has been targeted. My family has been targeted. My reputation as a reporter has been targeted. Charleston White and Tiffany Billions have accused me of illegally obtaining private information and documents from Collin County Courthouse in an interview that has now been viewed over 800,000 times, not counting clips and everything else like that. Charleston White claimed that I was a prostitute and a meth addict, and that I sold myself for meth. I have been called a supremacist, an abuser, and racist. I am officially fatigued. The attacks on my reporting and my character simply because of the color of my skin are unacceptable. By the way, also because she's a soft target, because she's a woman. I don't see Charleston White talking no nonsense about me. I don't see this Tiffany Billions. You know, remember Tiffany Billions broke the story of Karmelo Anthony's magnum dong, and that's why he had to strike out at Austin Metcalf. I don't hear them talking any ish about me. No, they pick a woman who's, 10 months pregnant to go after. I am suing Charleston White and Tiffany Billions for defamation. I have retained CJ Grisham as my attorney. He's a warrior and aggressive, which I believe is warranted in a case like this. I cannot do this alone. I appreciate all the help I can get. I will remain transparent through the process. My reporting on the case will continue, and I will not be intimidated or silenced by those who refuse to hold people accountable for their actions simply because of the color of their skin. I am done. And she has set up a Give, Send, Go to raise money for this legal case, which I think is a reasonable I talked to her last night. She set a very reasonable goal based on exactly what her attorney said it would cost. This isn't give me $500,000. This is, hey, this is what, this legal case is going to cost. And as somebody who has been through a legal ordeal, my case didn't even go to trial and I spent over $50,000 on it. The person I was, suing ended up settling, but that didn't give me my 50 grand back. So lawsuits are very expensive. I think she set a very modest goal. It's at $25K. I want to set her off right. And so I have donated $2,500 to this. You can see, because, hey, look, I off her reporting, I have definitely made, money on my videos. And so there's no reason not to pay it forward. So I gave her $22,500 and I'm not against giving her more. This is just givesendgo.com/Sarah Fields. If you want to support her in her lawsuit, here's why the lawsuit's so important. Because of the depositions. What's going to happen is Drew Anthony's going to get hauled into court and have to answer under oath if he's been feeding information to Charleston White and Tiffany Billions to smear reporters. That's going to come up in Karmelo's trial. Now, if he didn't, and both of these individuals are lying, which is a non-0%, there's a non-0% chance that they're just both lying and clout grabbing. We won't know that without this lawsuit. So, I know the last Give, Send, Go didn't work out great, but I think if you want to see transparency, you want to see if the Karmelo Anthony family is paying these individuals to smear people reporting on it. If you're interested in what might come up in a deposition with Karmelo Anthony's father, then I highly recommend you back her Give, Send, Go so this legal case can take place. Now, I've looked into her attorney. He's a real deal. Here, you can already see Tiffany Billions has hid her Twitter account. Oh, you poor, pathetic little snowflake. Tiffany Billions, if you had nothing to hide, why would you block me? Woke, racist, cowardice really is a disease that seems to have reached stage 4 with you. Don't worry, you can't block me if there are depositions. You can't scare Sarah Fields and you can't scare me. You'll hear more from me after the state bar tosses your bogus grievance. This is going to be hilarious. For the lulls, just for the laughs, this trial has to happen. But we also need to get to the bottom of if the Anthony family is paying these people to lie on reporters. That would be very, very, very interesting. So I'll leave a link in the pinned comment down below. It's just, you can just remember it. It's givesendgo.com/Sarah Fields. If you want to support our lawsuit, and I hope that you do, let's do this so we can get to the bottom of what exactly is going on. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like on it. If you haven't yet, please subscribe or follow down below, and we'll talk to you again real soon.